So I was just working on this here drum part. You'll see that right there over there, this here drum part. I'm working on these drums. You can see the drums over there. I'm gonna put them on the screen just now.
That's it. This is the one. This is the drum set I used.
I want to give you guys a really quick tutorial on how to take the input that you get from either a keyboard, any MIDI input device, and how to get a little bit more life out of the samples, how to make the samples that you're using sound a little bit more realistic. And the key to this is velocity. This is just one of the things that's going to make a huge difference. There are other things to talk about, but today I'm going to focus on the velocities. So let's take a listen to what we have here, and you'll immediately notice a couple of things that are wrong in terms of what can and can't be heard. Did you guys hear that? These kick drums here, these boys right here, they were not very loud, right? I'm using Superior Drummer to trigger my drum samples. Yeah, sounds pretty good. It's a classic. You can absolutely go in here and go into mapping and go into the mixer and change the velocity control on what can and can't be hit. You can already see that I have nothing less than 20 on velocity that is going because you just can't even be able to hear anything. You can do that, and I 100% think you should, especially if you're working with something over and over again. I started from scratch with this setup, so I thought it was a great idea to go in and teach you guys a little bit about velocity. So how we do this, it's actually super easy. We're here in the edit window, and you get here just by clicking the E button, just like that. That's all you need to do. You can also double click the field, the MIDI field that you're trying to edit. Now I'm gonna hit Command and the arrow keys to just get a little bit in here. I can zoom in with the back and forward arrow key and the up and down. And all we need to do, you probably already see it here, we have this velocity control right here. Now what we can do, and this is so easy, you guys, oh my gosh, all we have to do here is just drag and click them, just like that, and we can actually just move this velocity control up like this. Maybe, yeah, just about 70. We don't want to do it too much. Let's hear how it sounds now. Already so much better, already so much better. I'm gonna ease it up even more. Something that about this drum style that is really unique is that you want that front loaded, that really like in your face kick drum sound. Using these samples here, we can actually get that perfect hit nearly every time. So let's hear how it sounds now at 80. There we go. Yeah, see, already so much better. You can even hear what happens over here. This guy, this kick drum hit is too intense, right? Like, it's just a little bit too intense. We don't want it to be quite that big. One question you might be asking is, if we want that perfect hit every time, why not make this all the same velocity? And the reason why we don't want to do that is because then we lose something in the actual performance. What the MIDI and the velocity triggering here is doing is the velocity is altering the hardness of the hit on the drum. Think about how the timbre changes on an instrument the harder you hit it. That's what velocity is representing here. So we don't always hit an instrument exactly the same way every single time. So going here and actually doing all of them and moving them all at once retains the dynamics of the original performance as it came in. Even if we're quantizing, I 100% quantized this, I'm a terrible drummer. Even if we're doing that, we retain some element of the humanness of the performance here. So what I'm going to do to create and maintain as much of the dynamism in this take as possible is I'm just going to literally highlight all of the kick drum MIDI notes here, and I'm just going to move them all up, just like that. And I'm paying attention to the color right now as I'm doing it. 66, I'm seeing a lot of red pop up. When you see a lot of red pop up, but there's still a lot of green over here, a lot of blue. The cool colors in MIDI here in Logic are referencing the lower velocities, and the warm ones are referencing higher velocities. So you see these big red boys coming up, and we don't want too many red boys because they're going to be really intense. And this isn't 100% an intense part. Anyhow, we're going to keep it at 66. We're going to see how that sounds, and we're probably going to tone down some of these. this just felt awful. Like there was nothing, like what? Doesn't make any sense, right? Sometimes these triggers are really, really finicky. So it's important to go into the MIDI and to figure this out and to go into the velocities to really get the most natural and realistic sounding performance out of these samples. Let's take this guy. Let's bring that down. Oh, 125. Let's see where you are at over here. 112, 125. All right, let's bring you back at least to maybe 107. Bring you two guys back down. 112 is not even on a downbeat. Jeez, guys. Wow. Wowzers. Okay, we have this guy at 114. Let's see how that sounds now. Okay, that was so much better, except we couldn't hear anything that was going on here, right? Oh my god. For right now, I'm just going to take just these guys. In fact, I'm gonna go all the way. Okay, that's just a weird extra hit. Take these guys, I'm just gonna bring them up, let's say, to 50, 60. That's a little too high. Maybe 50. Stick there. These guys are a little bit high. Let's make them match a little bit. Still could barely hear it. Absolutely, like, nothing. Okay, let's keep going. Up here. Nice, not too bad. Let's give this guy a little bit. You a little bit as well. And notice how they do need to be somewhat darker. This is still rock music, and we still want the closeness of that sound. So that's important to keep in mind as well. Yeah, did you see that? Did you see how much more we got from that? So let's take a look at one more part. We're gonna unmute you. And I want to take a look at what's going on right here. Now, see this fill over here? See how it's all the same color? That's a bad thing. We don't want that. What we need to do is try to mimic the way the rhythm actually feels and pulses. So let's take a listen to this as it is, and then we'll change it around and see how we can make it sound a little bit more realistic. Not bad. Not bad already, right? Superior Drummer is fantastic. I highly recommend you go and get it. But we can do better. We can take this even further. So first things first, I'm just gonna hit Shift as I do it so it hits all of them. I'm gonna bring these guys up a little bit. Doesn't have to be too much, right? Even that is going to be a little bit better. And let's even bring you down. I made a mistake. If anything, this should be the weakest one. And this should be a tiny bit stronger, back to where it was. Maybe, yeah, 94. Okay, let's hear how that sounds now. Get back out here. Little context. Yeah, let's hear that one more time. That was way, it's subtle. Try and catch it. Yes, so much better. So much better. Let's pull this up in GarageBand right now so we can make sure that we can do it in the exact same way. Just gonna GarageBand, literally just typing in GarageBand. So here we are in GarageBand. I'm gonna double click in here just like we did in Logic, and boom, it's exactly the same. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. This isn't a big deal, right? Okay, I'm gonna take that. I don't know why I saved, doesn't make any sense. So that's how you can use velocity and use articulations in Logic Pro and in GarageBand. This stuff is in GarageBand too, which is a free DAW. You can use them to make your MIDI samples sound a little bit more realistic. We saw that the kick drums were a little bit too low, so we brought them up a little bit so they were a little bit more audible. The other thing that we did was we went over here, we took a look at this fill, and we saw that it was all one color, and that was in there because I put it there like that. I made that fill. But it was all one color, and it sounded pretty lifeless, so we brought some more life into it by changing the velocities and having the cascade of the velocity match how it would be in real life with the pulse of the rhythm itself. If you guys are interested in making melodies and making melodies sound great, check out my free guide, 7 Ways to Write a More Effective Melody. 1,000 people so far, which is crazy to me, more than 1,000 people have downloaded this free guide, and that's a testament to itself. I've got great feedback from it. People love this thing. So go and get it for yourself. It's totally free. Head to justwritemusic.com. There's a link down in the doobly-doo. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I'm Avi, and don't forget to be awesome.